I'm Patrick.
I'm Will.
And I had to burp. And I'm Chris, and you're listening to the Guys with Issues podcast. Issue 1, Umbrella Academy, Volume 1.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
So, there you go. That's what we're going to be doing. That's what we're going to talk about this episode. But before we get to that, here's some random chattery. So you know what's been up with us. Pat, what's been up with you?
Well, about a new house.
Which we're sitting in right now.
That's correct.
Specifically waiting to start this up for this room.
Yes. Yeah, it was what?
Yeah.
A month and a half? 2 months since we did the fabled issue?
Month and a half, I think. I think it was the beginning of January. I have a tag
right.
on the file, and I saw it the other day. It might have been like the 13th I saved it or something. So it would have been the beginning of January.
There you go.
That we did the fabled issue. That didn't happen. Didn't.
Didn't happen.
But
maybe someday we'll release
so
it.
How do you like your house?
Oh, so far, it's great. There's things I want to do to it, but at this
That's
point...
whenever you buy a house.
No.
True.
It's just the list keeps growing of, oh, man.
We are all homeowners.
Yes, we are.
Man. So look at that.
Look at us being all grown up.
Has it been a bit of an adjustment period
No.
for you? Or has this been like...
amazing. Since
Like just
the first
immediately
day.
amounts
you're
of
like...
relief.
Just, it's quiet. I don't have to listen to anybody else.
No dog.
Nobody giving me jobs
I mean...
other than me.
Or when they ask you and then you drive over, which will happen when the weather changes and the...
Which, to be honest, I actually have a job from my father.
Oh.
Yeah, he wants me to help him with something.
Well,
I got a text message as I got home.
Usually how it works.
but the life is good.
Oh yeah, no, I really like it.
I actually think this house is perfect for
It
you.
really is.
It's like just enough for what you want and need.
I would like a basement. I don't have a basement. I have a crawl space.
That's an eventual, though, if you ever decide to buy a different house. But
I could put it on this one if I wanted.
you could.
I've kind of started looking into it.
Really?
Yeah, but it'll be like 5-6 years, something. I'm not in a huge hurry and I need to save up, but yeah.
And believe it or not, you live about 500 yards from a mutual friend.
I do.
Yeah.
Who's
Well, 2, actually.
Well,
I live- there's a
you
lot
do live
of-
in a town where the majority of our coworkers do inhabit.
that is true.
Oh,
Inhabit.
Because I know there's a few office workers that live like just in this block.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a few people that I work with, one in the purchasing department, that was like, he's living in Bremen now?
I don't
Because
know
she
who that
lives
is.
on the other side.
You'll have to tell me later.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
But-
cool. Yeah. So yeah, no, I got a house and just been dinking around in the house. It's great.
nice. Do you have to do any painting or remodeling or not really remodeling, but
I-
painting
eh.
or...
I think they painted it before they sold it because I don't really see any blemishes or anything on the walls, and
I think
colors
the
are fine,
color
but I might-
choices are fine.
I'm actually thinking about repainting, but I'll do that before I get rid of most of the carpets.
Are you going to get rid of the carpets?
I want to get rid of most of the carpets.
You
I think
leave
the
the one
carpet
in
in
here.
here is fine,
Yeah.
but the rest of them.
So that's one thing that I did is I put in different flooring, and because part of my house was already like old hardwood, and I pulled up like the only carpet that was in the house. But I will say for my life now, I almost wish that room was carpeted because I like wrestle with my kids and stuff, and you can't you got to be careful,
sure.
man.
Just get like a big area rug. It's easier to replace.
That's what we have in my bedroom.
Yeah.
I have an area rug.
Carpets are hard to maintain.
At this point, I'm too old for kids.
I mean, technically you're not.
Well, I know.
I mean, my dad had my little sister, probably around your age.
Yeah. See, I don't want to have a kid that when I retire, they finally move out of the house.
Oh my gosh. I had a friend in high school. His senior year, his dad retired from pipe fitters union in Chicago.
Yeah.
Dude,
I'm like, wow, your dad is really old, and he retired late too because he
And-
was a.
Oh man.
every time my
Foreman or
dad
something.
would attend my little sister's stuff, if he would go to things at the school, everybody thought he was her grandpa.
Oh,
That's what would happen. Anyway, whatever. I'm not opposed to children. Like if it happens, I'm not gonna.
You're just
be like,
opposed to them like sneaking in and living here.
yeah.
Well, if they're not mine, definitely. That would be weird, and I would probably go to jail.
Is that neighborhood kid again? Why does he keep hiding in the crawl space?
Anyway, yeah. So that's
No,
up
I
to
like your
me.
house. I think it's on a nice spot. I too have a corner lot. It's a nice little way to live, on the corner.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to push it off until I can get a riding lawnmower.
You have time.
I do.
I mean, it's going to keep snowing for like 3 months, right? Snow and rain.
Right.
It's going to.
But I want to try to go to electric. So
Hmm.
that's way too much money right now. So I'll just push it off this summer and
Yeah.
get my exercise in that way.
It's good exercise.
Never had a riding lawnmower in my life.
He had to chew the grass at his
Yeah.
parents' house.
They didn't even give you scissors? That's
Nope.
rough.
No,
Man.
he used to tell him he was the GOAT because he was the greatest of all time when it came to children. He said he was the best.
Right.
And they said, that's fine. Go chewing.
Goat chewing the grass.
Goat chewing the grass.
Also, I don't believe you.
Technically, it
Wait,
was
you
me.
don't believe me that I've never had a?
No, I don't believe you that you had to use your teeth.
Oh, I'm like,
to mow
how's
the
that
grass
not?
at your house?
How's that not believable? Like, I'm lost.
I believe you never had a lawnmower.
What's funny though, I grew up on a hobby farm, right? We had goats. And at one point, my parents, at one point, my parents thought about sectioning off our yard and just letting the goats roam
Sure.
People do that.
There's a lot of people that do
and
that.
just like
and
rotate,
then just move
graze
them around.
Yeah,
But they
Yeah.
were afraid that you would mimic it, and they didn't
Yeah.
want you to do
Yeah, I
that.
get
No.
that.
Oh. Yeah.
now we had some poisonous plants and stuff, so we'd have to go through because goats can't actually eat anything. Some things will actually kill them, and so we would have
You
had
mean-
to go through and like take out
You mean everything.
everything. Yeah,
They can't eat anything. They're very finicky. They
They're solar powered.
they
Yes.
photosynthesize.
yes.
People don't know that. They just chew objects.
Right. They don't actually swallow.
Yes.
Anyway.
I meant everything.
Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to verify because I never raised goats. So, hey, you could have.
Yes.
So, one more question about your house. But is your favorite thing like just that it's so chilled and that is like the number one thing, like over owning, like
Yeah.
of owning?
I could, like if I was renting, I probably would be just as happy.
It's just having your own space that is completely like when it's time to unwind, you can just do that.
Right.
That's cool.
I don't sit down and then 3 minutes later somebody's like, "Hey, come over here and help."
Yeah, that doesn't happen to me either. 3 minutes later, I get a flying knee to the groin is what happens.
Yeah,
The
that
life
does-
of a dad.
That does not sound relaxing to me.
I can relax after bedtime,
Right.
which my daughter, although I can chill with my, that's not true. I do hang out with my kids quite a bit. I don't want it to sound like I don't.
I know you do.
So they can be pretty chill. If
And I appreciate that.
I mean, my son can just hang out with me sometime and be satisfied and incessantly ask to play the Lego game because he likes Lego City Undercover, which is GTA with Legos. It's kid appropriate Grand Theft Auto.
I picked up the new Star Wars
Skywalker
Lego
Saga.
game.
That
Yeah.
is actually really good.
And I haven't played it yet.
That's good. Don't start.
Okay.
I think they're doing the same thing with Lord of the Rings.
They're going to redo the Lord of the Rings ones.
I heard a vague rumor from my sister.
I have the Lord of the Rings original one.
Yeah,
I bought
yeah.
it on Steam recently for sale, but
and
because it's one of the few I don't have, and I do love
is-
Lord of the Rings.
this is an unverified rumor. I heard it from someone who heard it online. So
Well, you know, if you hear it online, it's true.
yeah,
Especially about video game rumors.
especially on Reddit. You know,
That's right.
There's no lies on Reddit.
Oh, you know what I read on Reddit? So after I don't want to talk about this yet. I want to save it.
All right,
I want to
so-
save it.
All right, Chop.
Will, what have you
Save
been
it.
up to?
So a couple weeks ago, the Hogwarts Legacy game was released, and I've spent quite a bit of time.
You don't like Harry Potter, though, right?
No.
Like, that's your big thing.
No.
You're trying it as an unfan,
Yeah.
a non-fan.
As someone who was grounded as a child for reading it, I have been emotionally scarred for life.
Just like Harry Potter.
Yep. We lived in that same cupboard under the stairs.
I believe it.
Didn't believe the tooth thing.
I don't believe the goat thing.
So here's the interesting thing: is he is telling half truths right now, though.
No, I
Yeah.
I believe the grounded for reading it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I do believe
But
that.
there's a special irony to that. Go ahead,
Because
Will.
now it's our family's favorite franchise.
That's
we
hilarious.
watch it all the time.
His mom
Yeah.
loves Harry Potter.
Yeah, they've now read all the books. They watch fan theories on YouTube.
That is
The Lego Harry Potter games are some of their favorites. My mom's 100%ed
that's hilarious.
all of it.
Hilarious.
Oh yeah,
That would be one for them to remake Lego games. Harry Potter,
yeah,
that would be
that
one.
would be.
No, so he really did get in trouble, but he is a huge Harry Potter fan.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
And
It's,
and unlike many people, Will, what house are you?
I'm a Slytherin
I also believe that.
all the way.
Yes, but I don't know many people,
Who are
Who
actually
get that
Slytherins. Well, me
house.
neither. I don't.
which tells you something special about the way
Yeah.
Will operates.
What's your
A
house?
smooth operator.
I think it's consistently Gryffindor.
Okay, can either of you guess what my house is?
Ravenclaw.
Nope,
What? You're a Hufflepuff?
I am.
That doesn't surprise
It's
me.
okay. We love Hufflepuffs.
No, here's the thing. That doesn't surprise me because my wife used to test as a Hufflepuff, but sometimes she would test as a Ravenclaw. So like now it skews usually more towards Ravenclaw, which makes sense with her like love of all things book and all, like
Sure.
But her persona, in my opinion, is very Hufflepuff.
Well, Hufflepuff is loyalty.
Yeah.
By the way, I really like that video game series.
The Lego series?
No Persona.
Oh. You played Persona 5,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. I'm like, I've heard this. I know what he's talking about, but where is it from?
Will's face was very confused for a second.
He was thinking.
And I was like, I'm pretty sure he's played
Yes.
that.
Persona
have.
5, yeah. Persona 4 Golden. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a series I have not played. I've
Very
started one of them.
Japanese.
I like Japanese.
Well, so do I.
I like the Tales series a lot. Very different than Persona, though.
Yes.
Right. Anyway,
So what do you
they,
think of Hogwarts,
They
though?
did a really good job. I am not like I love how huge the castle is. They very much captured that feel, and also like it's full, right? So it's not like
It's not an empty castle.
Yeah, they definitely because there's a lot of like there's a room hidden behind a tapestry. They also have the room of requirement. That was a big feature they had in all the trailers.
sure.
But like the architecture is really cool. Like each house it has been tailored, I think, pretty accurately. Like the Slytherin common room, super cool. Overall, the castle is just like
Spoken
super
like
cool.
a Slytherin.
Oh yeah. Because
So, just real quick, there is a YouTube series that I watch called An Architect Reviews,
yeah,
and it is just an architect. He works an architect. He lives in Korea, I believe, South Korea. That's one
no, okay.
right.
Thanks for the clarification.
right. And he goes through like video game assets and reviews them with the eye of an architect. And he went through the Hogwarts castle.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and and he didn't do the whole thing. Like he did one of the common rooms and a few of the areas around, but
But
it was
super interesting.
super interesting. It was like a half an hour long.
I
It was
watch
awesome.
it.
I'll find the link. I'll send it to you.
Oh, it's really cool. I like how you can explore outside the castle too. Like they definitely expanded the world. Hogsmeade, super cool as well. I love that town.
Is that exclusive to PlayStation? Is Hogsmeade?
But it shouldn't because it's
No, the intro you can go. There's an area that's exclusive on the PS5 because
I
my
know
wife
there's-
got it on PC and she's really mad about it.
There was a PS exclusive quest line, I think.
Where you can go somewhere that the rest of the game isn't at.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what it is.
probably.
Where do you go for your house exclusive quest was Slytherin,
I don't know. I haven't gotten that
You
far.
haven't
I've
gotten
been digging through real slow,
doing all of the side goods.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Making sure to find, because you have like the Revelio spell and you can find and get information, like
Yeah, it shows like
field
little
pages
blurbs
are what they
and stuff.
call,
Yeah.
and so you can read stuff. And that's really cool because they definitely did all of their research on everything that J.K. Rowling had wrote, especially in like the Wizarding World website, like all the expanded stuff. And there's like paintings and stuff that are attributed to her extra works, and they work that into the game, so it's cool. As a big fan, I was.
Labor of love game.
Oh yeah,
You can tell that they
I think-
love the material.
I think it was worked on for like 13 years.
Really?
Like,
Like concept to
yeah,
final.
like from initial idea, trying to get funding around production,
Sure.
all that other stuff, and then production
interesting.
started, and then 7 years after production started, it was then released. But I think it had been worked. I heard that.
Interesting. My wife has
Yes.
loved it. She's on her second playthrough, changed houses.
I plan on doing that
She
too.
played through as Ravenclaw first, who's the only house without an exclusive mission.
Ah,
And now she's playing as Hufflepuff. And she won't let me tell her where you get to go if you do the Hufflepuff mission, because she doesn't want any spoilers, because she's already played. She's like, I don't know all of what I get to look forward to, so that's one of the few things that's still going to be different. I don't want to know. And since this is going to come out way after that game did,
Way.
I'm just going to say Hufflepuff's exclusive mission
Spoiler alert.
sends you to Azkaban.
Oh, really?
You get to go to Azkaban,
That's fun.
which is super cool.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
not fun. Fun is the wrong word for that.
Going to Azkaban, that'll be fun.
Especially because you don't have the Patronus charm.
Do you not have one?
No, that's not a. I mean, they might give.
You're
it to,
one of them dudes going around doing curses.
I mean, I did find the battle arena that gives you the curses you can try out. Okay, I may have a Avada Kedavra at some people.
I always call that abracadabra because
It's
that's
actually
what it
how
sounds like they're saying it.
It's based off of that word. She took abracadabra, and
And she reaches out and grabs you.
yeah. Oh, you probably have to cut this part out because I can't remember what the other word was. But abracadabra and another word mixed it together to get Avada Kedavra.
Seems like something she would do.
Also seems like something Bugs Bunny would do.
Yeah.
Right.
You heard it here first, folks. Bugs Bunny and J.K. Rowling, even
Cousins.
playing field.
No, I don't believe that at all.
Bugs is way older than her.
Probably. Anyway, cool. Glad you like it.
Yeah.
I'm planning on
Awesome.
picking it up when it's 50% off.
Yeah.
I may play it one day.
When it's 50% off.
Harry Potter is not something I like that much, even though my family likes it a lot. I don't dislike it. It's just not, but it looks cool. Looks
yeah,
fun.
I'm the same.
If they add Quidditch, I was a
Oh.
big fan of. I know they're supposed to
Yeah. There's
because they cut it out and they're probably finishing it and gonna add it back in. But
And
I
they're
was a
gonna
big fan
charge you
of
for
the.
it.
I was a big fan of the GameCube Quidditch game where you played as the houses, and once you got far enough, you went on to the International Quidditch Cup, which let you pick your international team, which was either like the Germans or the Japanese, and like different house, like full on high profile country wizards.
I never played this game.
And you could, it was cool. It was literally like a sports mechanics game, but it was Quidditch.
That's
It
fun.
was super fun.
Yeah, sure.
And the AI started cheating badly when you got really far into it. But it was a ton of fun. Pseudo real time almost had like some slight turn based feel to it because you couldn't just go anywhere all the time. If I remember correctly, I think you had like a limited amount of time or movement, it had to pass, things like that. But it was very fun to play.
Cool.
So technically, the day we're recording this in yonder past is the day that the PSVR 2 launched.
Right.
And reviews for it are raving about how it's like the new step in virtual reality. It's very comparable and competitive with even high-end VR PC systems. There's a lot of things it's doing that people are raving about. I love VR. I think it's a ton of fun. I've never gotten to own a really nice one. I had the original PlayStation VR, which was kind of poopy, but I had played the Vive at Patrick's sister's house, and that was super fun. It's the first time I ever got to try VR, and I hit their Christmas tree.
Yes.
And I hit their TV.
Right.
And they let me play it for hours, and the next day I was super sore because I was going all out and crouching and ducking and crawling, and like it was a great time.
It was pretty amazing.
And I have been an advocate for VR gaming ever since. There's just a level of immersion when you watch trailers and see like what the game looks like. It's nothing like getting to experience it.
Right.
And I've also been a big fan of a game called No Man's Sky for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And today they released a huge update that mostly had to do with PSVR 2 integration. I love that like the headset itself has vibrations that'll sync with the controllers for like when you're taking off or if you're on an earthquake or I just want to play it so badly. I do. Right now you can only buy it on PlayStation Direct, and I put it in a cart, and I put the expensive headphones in a cart, and I put...
You can take those out. You can have mine.
You're not going to use them?
Nah.
Really?
Yeah. You just I'll just give them to you. Yeah.
I will
Nah.
need to pay you. They are expensive.
It was part of that cost. I got a...
Yeah, but that's
I
part
bought
of the deal.
Oh. I don't know if I told you this, Pat, but I bought a PlayStation 5.
You did not.
You didn't know?
No.
I forgot to tell. I forgot to
He
post
got
it.
he got on the bandwagon with us.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
dragged him along.
I just
yeah.
feel left out.
But you have
We can
one.
all play Avengers.
No,
Oh,
I
I got-
mean that you didn't tell me.
But it was a Costco deal.
Right.
And it came with like 2 controllers, the console,
Sure.
God of War Ragnarok, the 3D audio headphones.
I have those.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be really good with the VR.
Well, they're good, but they're small.
Really?
They hurt my ears.
Yeah, they're a little tight.
That's silly.
Yeah,
But-
I'm trying to figure out a way to fix that.
I haven't found a way to shrink my head, so
No, I'm
There
looking
are
at
ways to do that.
Replace the pads.
oh,
I have new pads. I just need a X-Acto knife and luck.
Some luck and X-Acto and a will to succeed.
Yeah, right. So I'm going to be trying to mod my headphones because I mean, I wear them for about an hour and my ears start hurting. I got to take them off.
So
yeah, I don't. I've used them a couple times just to see because they're like the 3D audio.
yeah,
And I'm like, oh, I wonder what this is like. It is pretty cool because I used it when I was playing
I'm
God
going
of
to follow
War.
you home after this, and I'm going to take them so that I can try them.
Just don't take mine.
Yeah.
He's going to go to get them when we leave, and they're going to be missing. Those rascals. But yeah, so
got 'em
right
again.
now, I started playing No Man's Sky again a little bit because they had a bunch of updates since the last time I played, and they've changed things, and combat's different, and the particle effects are cooler for when you blow stuff up, and they added new ways when you're doing freighter design. They've redone that. They've added outlaw stations. You can be a pirate and a smuggler. You can actually take smuggling jobs or attack like the big capital ships as bounties, and there's so much to do in it now, and I want to play it in VR so badly that I started playing it outside of VR. So, other than that, I've just been doing normal family life, hanging out with kiddos. I did recently play the game Shifu, which is a roguelite kung fu game
I've not heard of it.
made by the people who made Absolver, Slow
Yeah.
Clap. And I platinumed it because I was determined to do like everything in the game. It took me like a week, but I bought it on sale.
Cool.
So, and I loved it.
How old did you get? Like, how did that work? Because you're like, it's a martial arts game where like
Every time
fight,
you die,
and
you
every
get
time you
older.
die, you age a little bit, but you come back to life.
Well, once you hit 70, you can't come back to life again, and the game ends
Oh.
if you die. If you
Okay.
if you hit 70 or older. The time I beat it on normal, I was 68 years old.
Ooh.
And the time I beat it 3 times on easy, and got all the different endings. By the last time I beat it, I've beaten it under 25 because that was one of the trophies. But that's on easy. I know there are people that can like no death run it on master. That is not me. That will never be me. I do not have the time and reflexes to develop for this game. So I did it. I got all the trophies, which I normally don't care about, but I was so close. I was like, whatever. I love this game. Super fun. Basically a beat 'em up. And then I uninstalled it because I was playing it like every day. But anyway,
Anyway,
just a quick touch on something brief for comic news. This is going to be super old, though, so I guess that's kind of silly. But this year is going to have a ton of cool comic book movies, which, as we shared in episodes issue 0,
we'll get there.
that's one of the things that brought us into comics to an extent. Like even myself, as collecting when I was young, it was television shows and things like that that also got me into it. Did you guys see the new trailers for different things like The Flash that they showed during the Super Bowl? You haven't seen the Flash trailer?
Nope.
Okay.
Wait, maybe I did see the Flash
Did you see
trailer.
Michael Keaton as Batman?
Yes, I did see that trailer. That was amazing.
I am
can't
so
wait.
excited.
That's gonna be great.
Will, you'll be excited.
You need to watch that trailer. We'll do that after this.
Yes.
Yes.
But there's other movies. There's a new Indiana Jones and Transformers, and Marvel's got its normal slew. I'm excited for Guardians 3. I hope
Right,
it's better
me
than
too.
Guardians 2.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like the big finale to that series. Looks like there might be some tragedy. So by the time this comes out, all those movies will probably have already released. Shazam 2 comes out in a couple weeks. That might be a fun one to go see. Maybe we could go see it and talk about it briefly.
Yeah,
That'd be fun.
Maybe
fun,
we
guys.
can read a
Shazam
read a
comic.
Shazam comic and then go and do a podcast about the
There's
whole
a
thing.
really good Black Adam comic where Black Adam is trying to figure out. So Shazam eventually becomes like the wizard of the Rock of Eternity, and he intentionally changes.
Spoilers. Go on.
He changes the word. He gets rid of Shazam as his word,
Oh.
so that Black Adam doesn't know how to call on the power. And there's a whole thing about Black Adam going kind of on this journey, trying to figure it out. And the way it happens is hilarious. But that might be, even though it's not a Shazam comic, it is in the Shazam universe.
Sure.
It deals with his main
Yeah.
opponent. And that might be a fun one to read and then watch the movie. So, unless
good.
the movie's based on a specific comic arc, which I'm not sure if it is. So more to come on that, guys. We'll probably talk about those movies eventually, and then it'll probably be way after you've already watched them. So who knows? Who knows what it'll spark for us to do in the future on these guys with issues nonsense, and what issues we'll pull out to read.
Eventually, at some point, we'll probably get caught up.
Oh, it will catch up eventually.
Right.
Yeah.
Until then, you'll just know what's going on
You will be like oracles.
as we release
You
things.
will listen to this and think, I know the future of these men.
No, that's a draw. People love knowing what you don't.
Right.
And I listened to a comic podcast that speculated about Infinity War and Endgame, and they were so wrong. It was comical. And I kept listening just to hear how wrong they were about what they were guessing.
That's one way to bring them in.
Oh, yeah.
So, nothing to be wrong about yet. Maybe in the future. Or maybe you think we're wrong already. You know what? We'll insert an email address here eventually that you can contact us and tell us how wrong we are. Or get on our Discord.
Send us emails to longbox@guyswithissues.com and tell us your thoughts. Yeah, there will be an email.
Yeah. So, one day, you'll be able to tell us that you thought we were right, or that we were wrong, or that we should just shut down because we don't know what we're talking about.
Oh, that'll probably happen.
Hopefully, it helps you enlighten us.
Yes. I agree.
Now that that's all over and done with,
Our shenaniganry.
Umbrella Academy, Volume 1,
Volume 1.
suggested by...
Me, Will. Just a reminder, still forgettable.
I don't believe that, but go on.
So you suggested this. Why?
I loved the Netflix series. I watched that, binged watched it.
Did you watch all 3 seasons?
No.
3? Okay.
Season 3 might not be out yet.
I thought
Probably
it was.
will.
Wasn't it?
I have no idea.
I honestly don't know.
I think I watched 1 or 2 episodes.
Of the whole thing.
Correct.
Okay.
2 random episodes, or
Like the first
Were they
and
chronological?
possibly
What?
the second. I don't remember if I
1 and
watched
7.
6.
Hilarious. And in Guys with Issues, we want to expose ourselves to... Sorry.
Other
To
guys
many-
with issues?
to issues that we may not have read or maybe maybe considered big deals, popular
Sure.
as a TV series,
Yeah. and was unaware of its status as a comic book.
So when you watched
Originally.
it,
Yeah, I had no.
you did not know it was based on a comic.
I thought it was just something someone dreamed up. And then
I mean,
we were
technically.
technically we were compiling a list of potential comic books to go over for the podcast, and Chris listed the Umbrella Academy. I'm like, oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And so then I got really curious as to.
I feel like there's a lot of stuff these days that were comics that nobody realizes were
Yeah.
comics.
I have had this
All
discussed.
over.
There are a lot.
Like Fable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
Or
we
the-
should do a podcast
or the
about
movie Snowpiercer.
Or
Snowpiercer
Snowpiercer.
had a comic.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I thought it was was that a comic book or a novel? Like actual.
It's a graphic novel.
Oh.
It was a graphic novel.
Okay, what's the difference?
Like legitimately?
Legitimate.
Okay. So a graphic novel, when you reference it that way, would be that it was published not as issues, but as a full run. But if you go up to somebody and say, I want to see your graphic novels, it's by, I believe, technicality, graphic novels are hardcovers, by the way. So like when you're going to the local comic shop, if you buy a paperback graphic novel, you're buying what they call is a trade paperback, a TBP.
So that's what
No,
my
TPB.
like, Saga is a
Technically,
TPB.
well, that is an omnibus. Or, but yeah, technically it's a trade paperback. If you have a hardcover, like your Joker Harley Quinn, is that a hardcover? Looks like it might be. I can't tell from here.
maybe. I don't remember. That's the red one.
Is that a hardcover?
Yeah.
So that would be a graphic novel,
Okay.
technically. But when things are published, I think direct to like a big volume, they call that a graphic novel. Pretty sure. But yeah, novel length, bigger book, pictures.
All right.
If I'm wrong, feel free to email us. Ah, shoot. But yeah, so
Yes.
you didn't know.
Didn't know.
There's a lot of stuff people
There's a
don't know.
lot of stuff I don't know. And
and
I'm
we're
going
going to
ask
find out about
questions,
all
dang it.
kinds of stuff.
I don't mind asking questions. I don't mind looking dumb. Let's do it.
Well, you never look dumb.
I don't mind sounding dumb.
It's hard to look dumb on a audio
On an
only
audio
podcast.
podcast. That's
But
right.
yeah, I also watched season 1. I don't believe I saw the follow-up season. But I did
Yes.
break our rule when we read this, and I read volumes 1 and 2.
Oh, how dare you?
I did.
Sinner.
And I think I liked volume 2 better.
I wouldn't know. I didn't read it.
But anyway,
I mean, it could only get better.
is that how are we starting? Okay.
I think we might be.
So before we jump to our synopsis and Will gives us the rundown, we did get our first email. First emailer. How exciting is that? And
Very exciting.
Pat's going to read it.
I'm going to read the first email.
Yeah, Pat's going to read the first email.
Do it, Patrick.
Do I say who it's from?
Well, yeah. They put their name in the email. They're on the line.
Yeah, their identity is theirs to protect.
And they gave it to us. That was foolish.
Yeah, his social security number is to follow.
So anyway, we got an email from Chris.
Not this one.
What? Not this email?
Not me.
Oh, right. That different Chris.
Yeah,
Different.
Chris with a
Different
K.
Chris. Christoph.
Christoph. Right. And he says, we need to hear episode -1 for sure now. Which I don't think we're ever going to
I've had a lot of people asking me about it already.
I know. Me too.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So for all of you, that's the future is in your hands when you want to fund us with Patreon.
that's going to be a long time down the
time.
road.
Yeah.
All right. And he said suggestions to review any and all Star Trek comics.
There are some of those.
I think he might be a Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
In fact, maybe focus exclusively on Star Trek comics. Yeah.
You're going to enjoy some of the episode 2 stuff. Issue 2.
He also says, great job, guys, with all those issues. Also, you say cool a lot, and I think that's pretty cool.
Cool.
Sincerely, your first, definitely faster, definitely firster than Heather, listener. Heather is my sister, by the way.
Yeah, Heather, where was your email?
Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
I've
Yeah, thanks.
appreciated you since I met you.
I've seen you once.
He is a pretty cool guy.
He is cool. He's real cool.
Real cool.
Oh, so right there, you heard it. If you send an email in, you better watch what you say because you may end up on Guys with Issues alongside us. So, yeah, thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Well, Will,
Well,
do you want to give a synopsis?
No,
if you want to
that's-
give like a basic idea of what Volume 1 of Umbrella Academy is about for our listeners who maybe haven't watched or read the book.
Yes. So, in an inexplicable worldwide event, 43 extraordinary children were spontaneously born to women who'd previously shown no signs of pregnancy. Millionaire inventor Reginald Hargreaves adopted 7 of the children. When asked why, his only explanation was to save the world. The 7 children form the Umbrella Academy, a dysfunctional family of superheroes with bizarre powers. Their first adventure at the age of 10 pits them against an erratic and deadly Eiffel Tower, piloted by the fearsome zombie robot Gustav Eiffel. Nearly a decade later, the team disbands. But when Hargreaves unexpectedly dies, these disgruntled siblings reunite just in time to save the world once again.
And that's the whole shebang.
And that's...
Yeah, that about sums it up. All
The
right, let's call it a
sauce.
night.
Okay. That's what it was, guys. Thanks for listening to The Guys with Issues.
Yes.
I hope you feel like you just read that. And whether you liked it or not, let us know. No. So
My lovely reading abilities.
since this was suggested by you because you like the show,
Yeah.
first off, how did you feel? Well, what were your thoughts on it overall?
Overall, not bad.
Obviously, you had expectations.
I had a lot higher expectations. It wasn't as good as I thought it would be, but it's not. I'm not saying it's bad. But other side note, I didn't know it was written by the lead singer of My Chemical Romance. I think
that's correct.
Right.
Yes. Had no idea. Read
I'm
the
going
first.
to say right.
Yeah.
I'm going to act
You're
like
like,
I know
I
what I'm
would
doing.
never know the answer to that.
It was in the thing. I just didn't read it
Oh,
No, I
that's
did.
true.
at the
wasn't in the
end
thing.
of at least in
The world, as you know it.
the whatever you
The afterword.
the afterword. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, the art style is not really to my liking.
I agree with that.
It's kind of minimalist.
It's very stylized,
It is.
but
Yeah.
in a minimalist way.
Yeah.
Very little textures, very little like shading,
Right.
very blocky intentionally. It's very intentional,
Yeah, I'm sure he decided that on purpose. But
I hope.
yeah.
I drew this comic. That's just how I draw. I mean, that is how comics happen, though, sometimes.
Sure.
It's just
Yeah.
how you draw.
Oh, but it had this weird kind of punchiness to it. Like he had all these ideas, right? And he's just like, I'm just going to throw them out there and just like keep going instead of having like a good build up beforehand and then being like, oh, plot twist, boom, this is, the mom is actually a robot. What? Boom. Like the show did, like on Netflix, they kind of played it off as, their mom was just a regular person. All of a sudden you find out the mom's actually a robot.
Which has no impact on the story, technically.
Technically, no, but they're like,
It's just a thing, though.
It's a twist.
It is.
Yeah.
but there's just like all these random reveals with
Right.
almost no lead up or anything.
It is literally just, like you said, a bunch of ideas that he had that he kind of put into a story.
I think
I don't think there is really a twist, is there?
the problem with that story is they were introducing too many characters and too many ideas in too short of a period of time.
Because it felt like it was like bam, 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 bam.
Right. Like if they would have waited until a few issues down the road.
I do that all the time.
A few issues down the road, and then revealed the mother is a robot. I think, like take some of those reveals to later issues. It was just too much.
So
The same problem with, like the Wheel of Time movies or TV show. There's too many characters to
that has
introduce
too
in
many
too
problems
short
to talk about.
amount of time. That's one of the problems.
That's the top of the list.
We really don't want to
go down that rabbit
go down
hole.
that rabbit hole,
would
or
be a
we'll be
tangent.
here for 3 hours.
So you said for you, just to begin with, so your initial thought was you still enjoyed it, but just not as much as you thought you would.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you had no expectations whatsoever.
No expectation. I did. I liked it. Don't get me wrong.
Did you like it?
I liked the storyline. I
I
thought
honestly
it was
wasn't
interesting.
sure if you would like it
Yeah.
because I wasn't sure if you would find the characters likable enough to enjoy the story.
I don't think it was the characters. I think it was
The setting. It was the idea.
I think it was the idea. I enjoyed the extremely old time traveling kid. Not the character itself, just the idea of it. I thought that was
But he's
interesting.
trapped in a kid's body, but he's really
right.
old.
He's really old, trapped in a kid's body. He's seen things nobody else will ever see because.
The second volume is all about him.
Oh, interesting.
You would probably enjoy it then.
Maybe. The characters themselves, no. I don't know if there's anyone that I actually enjoyed or liked or could relate to. And I also thought that there was just too much conflict between all of them.
Just a really big dysfunctional family thing.
I mean, I know that that's what they were trying to go for, but it felt worse than that.
Yeah, it kind of felt like, despite the fact that they had disbanded and, it's been 10 years, they're still just kids.
They're,
Right,
They
like-
act childish.
Yeah, like
they're-
all of them, they never actually grew up.
Right. They never actually grew up. And it's not like sibling rivalries. It's more of a, I really don't like you
Yes.
rivalries.
But then they would like kind of do things for each other. On
Right.
the
Which
down
just,
low.
I don't know, because of how bad it was between them, it just didn't make sense that they did the other thing. I think they should have balanced that a little better.
I read Extra, but I don't think I liked it really as a whole. I like that it's more comic-y, superhero-y than the TV show. The TV show is more grounded feeling. They like really they minimize like the superhero side of it. Like they never fight like a living Eiffel Tower, and like they don't, even their powers are a little different, some of them. But if anybody's the most similar, it would be the time traveling
Yeah.
sibling. Like his is the most similar to his television and comic show counterpart. Almost the same. Everybody else I feel like was pretty different.
Especially Seance.
Yeah, he was like completely different.
Yeah.
But I didn't really like anybody. I found them all kind of deplorable people because they had so many issues and they were so self-centered with most of them that it was hard to root for them. But I did find the situations that would be presented, so all of those ideas that were being thrown out, is like what kept me reading.
Right. I think me too.
And so that's why I read volume 2, because it introduces the 2 time traveling assassins from the TV show. And
Spoilers.
It's been out
and
for a while, Pat.
but
We're past spoiler
that's
range.
I think the TV show has them in season 1 though.
Yeah.
So
There's bits of, I didn't read.
season 2 and season 1 have a lot of
Issues.
well, what I should say is season 1 of the show has a lot of volume 1 and volume 2 both. But I don't know. It would not be a series I would sub to. I would not. I'm really thankful I read it on Comixology and I did not buy it. It would not be something where I was like, oh yeah, hey man, you should try reading this. I'll pull it off my shelf and loan it out to you. I like to own comics that I can loan out.
Sure. Same.
I
wouldn't want to own that. At least based on the first.
No, the second volume, I think I liked better, but it's still not a series that I can say I really liked. So I guess I don't know. I feel like that kind of sums it up, the whole thing for us. Like we could talk about details, but there are so many random things. Like it doesn't feel like a super cohesive story.
Right. And I'm wondering if it gets better over time with that.
I think there's a third volume coming that's out. You could not read it on Comixology. It was too new. You had to buy it. And I did not feel like I cared enough to buy that.
No, I think one of the major failings is there was too many people in that first. So you didn't really get to know anybody other than they're not great people.
And it was so random. Like
It really
Will said.
was.
It didn't feel like there was a good overarching story because you had her becoming the human violin to play a song to end everything. Okay.
Which was interesting. I mean, like the idea is something that would never have thought of.
Yeah.
Like a human violin.
Yeah, which they don't do in the show. She plays.
No. Yeah, she plays, but she doesn't.
They do not do that whole like transformation thing or anything like that, which I actually think is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Because that makes it a little more interesting.
Right, it does.
She's just a violinist in the show.
I think that was...
That has like a power of playing.
I don't know. I think...
it's been quite a while.
Same.
I think the reason that I am not saying I disliked it is because I think I liked a lot of the underlying ideas. I just don't think the execution was that great.
Enjoyable.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know much. Like, I think you and I are on the same page of saying like, oh, we kind of like the ideas. And
Right.
you liked it all a little more than we did.
Probably, yeah.
I feel like there's a lot that we could say we didn't like. Obviously, we are already. But none of us like the art, it sounds like. Which isn't against them. It's just the style. It's not our feel.
Right.
It's very subjective. I know people that would love that kind of comic art. But for me, I don't enjoy that as much. I love detailed comic art. Or even super stylized, but still has more form to it.
Yeah, because some panels I really had to like look for certain characteristics to see who was even like what characters were even in this scene. You know,
Right,
it's
like especially if they were in the far background.
yeah,
It was kind of hard to
differentiate
them.
Because they were basically like a rectangle with a circle, and it would depend on like their hair color or something
Right.
from far away. But that's very simplistic. They were a rectangle and a circle, and that was it. But part of them was Euclid. The other was... Was anything in it... Did you have anything that you thought was like a standout moment? Like something you really liked in the story? Will? I'm gesturing, so I...
Yes. Nothing that really comes to mind.
Okay. I just wondered. Just curious.
Yeah.
Did you have anything? You said you liked the human violin thing.
Yeah, so I mean, you figured, it was kind of leading you down the path that I don't know the names. The violin lady,
Yep.
was going to just join this orchestra, and then there was going to be some tone or some noise or something that would destroy everything. That seems pretty quote unquote normal. And I didn't realize they were just going to turn her into an instrument. And then she would play an instrument as being an instrument. I just thought, like I said, I thought that was really interesting.
I liked that when they fought her, she could like use the music to fight.
Right. Yeah.
That was cool.
That was cool. That whole portion of it, like the very end,
the big finale,
is kind of what made me go, yeah, all right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like the rest of it was like, I couldn't care. There's no way.
You didn't like step sibling love.
So dumb.
We grew up together, and I love you.
I mean, as much as they complained about the father figure, you would think they would have banded together to go against, or like set a front to the father figure, and they would be a more cohesive unit.
Like the Willoughbys.
I don't know what you're referencing.
It's an animated movie.
Okay, but that wasn't the case. It was almost like they grew up just hating everything, and yet they're supposed to save the world. And why would they?
Yeah.
In several of the panels, well, not several of them, I think it was when the big monkey guy and Kraken were talking. He says, "Oh, you're still just trying to fight for father's love and attention, despite the fact he's dead now."
Right.
And if that's basically what they're all doing, they all still try to vie for
approval,
Hargreaves' approval at the expense of everybody else.
And he's DED dead.
Yeah, with a capital D
on both ends.
Yeah.
But a lowercase e.
Yeah.
In the middle.
Right. I don't know what this means.
So I pretty much agree with those sentiments.
Yeah.
I did like some of the weird elements. I like some of the bad guy groups that they showed, like the orchestra group that was like, we're this league of supervillains. And then I liked the weird time traveling robot bad guys that came out of nowhere Was
Right.
that in that one? That was
No,
in
that
the
was that
volume
one.
one.
Yeah.
Where they attack like the carnival.
Right.
And it was just like somebody that they fought before that had known that they would need to send these robots and stuff. And it's just, I liked some of the bad guy stuff.
I didn't pick up they were time traveling though.
I thought they were. I thought that
And they
he had
may-
like sent them.
Don't get me wrong, they may have been. I literally read this morning
Oh, is this the one you had to
before
finish?
work. Yeah.
Okay. That's funny because I literally read this like a month ago.
Because
Yeah,
what
I
I
did
thought,
read it a while ago too.
what I thought happened, and I guess I could be wrong. I was speeding through it. What I thought happened was this person was no longer around, but they had programmed these robots
Okay.
to come out at a
Yes.
specific amount of time.
That's
Yeah.
more of what it is. In my mind, that's like him anticipating the future. So in a way, like
Well, he did because he was there when they broke up.
yes,
And then he programmed these robots if they ever got back together to
yeah,
come out.
yes.
I thought it was to come out when Hargreaves died.
No, it was when they got back together.
Was it?
And they got back together when
Okay.
Hargreaves died.
I'm not part of this because I clearly thought they time traveled through my memory, but only that
They time traveled through your memory? Is that how time travel works?
that's actually all it is. It's all in your mind.
Welcome to the
No,
Matrix.
that's.
Hold
I
on.
remember that was a specific line in the book in the
Okay.
I
issue.
believe this. Like I said, I read it the longest ago, the furthest back.
Yeah.
So, so you heard it here first. I was wrong, faithful listeners.
Yeah, because it was they were programmed to come out if they ever got back together, and him dying brought them technically brought them back together, even if they weren't back together.
Yeah, well, they should have stayed broken up. World could have ended. That universe, it wouldn't have mattered. I'm
Actually, if they had stayed
a little
broken
rough,
up,
actually.
the world would never have ended.
No, that's not true. The robots had absolutely nothing to do with it. The
No,
robots,
but he's talking about the violinist.
The human violin wouldn't have been born because she went back to the group because her adoptive brother
made her feel
said
bad.
some bad words to her to hurt her feelings.
that's true. Yeah,
and
you're
so
right.
if
That's
she had
what I
never
do when
gone,
people hurt my feelings is I go find an orchestra to join that wants to rule the world.
yeah,
Who doesn't?
yeah, she wanted to destroy the world because her adoptive brother said.
I'm not sure she wanted to destroy the world. I think that like what they did to her kind of like changed her, and she did hate them at the time.
Maybe. I don't remember.
Do they show that she survives at the end?
Yes.
Yeah,
That they save her,
Yes.
but she has her throat cut?
Yes.
Okay.
despite taking a bullet to the back of the head, yeah, somehow just was able to shrug that one off.
Hey, superheroes, man.
No, it was because it didn't hit any vital areas of the brain.
Maybe she didn't have
They
a brain.
explained it in the comic
Didn't
book.
they take it out?
No,
they
they
took
left
everything
They
out.
left the bullet in.
No, they took it like when they did her surgery, they pumped her all kinds of stuff out of her and pumped a whole bunch of stuff in her.
Well, sure, but
Maybe they didn't have that part of the brain.
I don't know. But they left the bullet in there. I don't know why they specifically called that out, but they did.
Maybe it comes back to play.
It might.
I don't believe it does in volume 2, but I could be wrong. Like I said, didn't really enjoy it. Not a lot, even though I read 2 volumes because I was just like, what happens? But
We're not going to come back to this. What
I'm one of
happened?
those people that it's like sometimes if there's just something, and I don't think it'll take me that long, even if I didn't enjoy it that much, if there's more to it, I might want to know what happened. But again, couldn't pay the $7.99 to find out the finale.
Anyway, yeah. All right. Cool.
So,
Yeah.
how are we going to do a rating system? What would our rating be? How many issues?
How many Batmans? No.
Yeah. How many violins?
Violence.
We'll base it off of each thing. How many world-ending violins would you give this?
Out of.
What
We
do you think? 2?
10, 5?
10? Oh, we want to get.
No, I'm saying, like, what's our max on our men?
Let's do 5.
So we're doing it out of 5.
Yeah, you can do a half a violin, just the bow.
0
Just
to
the
5
bottom.
or 1 to 5?
Oh, we could do a 0 if we absolutely. I can't imagine us ever choosing to read something that was so deplorable, like absolutely abhorred,
I don't think we should do 0. I think it should be 1 to 5.
because somebody's effort made it worth something,
Something. Yes.
even to us,
I,
because we love everyone.
Right. I would give this one probably a 2.5. Just right down the middle. I didn't hate it. I mean, it was okay.
2.5 world-ending violins.
2.5 world-ending violence.
What about you, Will? You liked it the best.
Yeah, I'd go 3.75.
Oh man,
That's actually pretty high.
Yeah.
So with the issue that we never recorded before this,
Yeah,
would that be higher or lower than that one?
it'd be higher.
This would be higher?
No.
The other one.
The other
The
one.
non-existing issue.
The non-existing issue.
the
okay,
limbo
would be
issue.
higher. Okay, just curious. I just wondered where that would sit in comparison.
Probably like 4.5.
Okay, so high. That one
Yeah.
would be high.
I
It
did
was
like
pretty
it.
good.
Like I want to keep reading on
I
it.
like that we're.
Anyway,
So
what about you?
3.75. Huh?
3.75. I let this. They did some, like how we mentioned, they had more of like their abilities and some more like sci-fi and superhero stuff going on in this and the show that I did like.
Yep.
You know.
I also wasn't a big fan of the characters in the show, but I did enjoy the show for the story arc, which I felt
Yeah.
was a little more cohesive.
That definitely, yeah.
Less comic book characters, unfortunately. A little more cohesive storyline. Where do I sit? With my world-ending violins. Let me rosin my bow and say, you know what? I'll give it a 2. Since you did 2.5, you did 3 3/4 violins.
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and do a straight 2 because I definitely liked it the least out of the group. Even though I read the most out of the group, there's a strange twist.
That is a strange twist.
But I don't know. I mean, if somebody really liked the show, I might say, hey, you can read what it was based on. But I would give a pretty big caveat. I know that you're getting something pretty different. If the story had flowed a little better, if it was less the sporadic ideas feeling and more of like that, like a single focused idea, which I guess you could argue that it's like they're dynamic and stuff. But with them as characters, wasn't a big fan of who they are as people. And with the story not feeling like it had a great overarching flow, it's not something I put on my shelf. I would even consider taking it under 2. But I don't think it's that bad. I'm not saying I'd take it to a 1. I wouldn't put it at
1.75.
Definitely a wobbly 2. I might need to tighten my strings on those violins. I don't know. But the world ended there for me. That is not a world I will probably revisit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
But anything else you guys have to add on that? Anything? That was pretty simple one. Feel like we, for the most part, kind of jived. Will definitely was the biggest fan.
Yep.
Right. And I can see the merits of it, but I feel like I need. I feel like I probably would have liked it more if it was longer. Which is
like if
odd to say.
he had taken his time more.
Taking his time more, introduce the characters.
A little more build up in the beginning.
Yes.
Longer in the beginning.
Longer in the beginning.
Because you love the end.
I did.
Spend a little more time, a little more background, a little more people vibe.
Right.
Okay. I could see that.
Yeah. That's I think we should have gotten to know the characters better and not. I mean, because why? Why did they hate each other? Why? Yeah. I mean, we just
Besides, their dad was a kind of a lame wad and
kind
them
of pitted
against
them
each-
against
like,
each
yeah.
other. But I mean, and why?
But as you grow, you should be able to acknowledge that.
Right. It just. Yeah. I don't know.
If you can handle being a mature adult, please note if your parents turned you against each other, that does not make it the fault of your siblings.
Correct.
We'll give a helpline at the end in case that is you and need to talk to somebody.
Not sponsored by BetterHelp.
8675309.
Good luck.
My dad went to school with
Is that
a kid.
Silicon Valley?
Call up Jenny.
My dad went to school with a kid who had that
Had that number.
phone number.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Did you know that is the most used membership card phone number entered?
Yeah. Yeah. If you go into some random store and they ask
Like
for your
CVS?
membership,
Oh, yeah.
If they say, would you like to put your phone number in for CVS? If you put 8675309.
put your area code, whatever area code you live at, and then
Yep.
8675309.
It is
and
the
will-
most used
It'll
phone number.
work.
Growing up, that area, not area code, but the first 3 digits of my phone number is 867.
There you go.
Perfect. Well, on that note, next time we're going to be talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue 1 from 1984, the original Ninja Turtles comic that spawned a phenomenon. That's all for us guys with issues. I'm Chris.
I'm Patrick.
I'm Will.
Later.
And we're out.
This was the Guys with Issues
And this
podcast.
was the Guys with Issues podcast. Thank you and good night.
Remember to tip your waitress and spade and neuter your animals.
I'll be here all week.
In fact, he lives here.
In fact, I'll be here for a few years at least.
Hope so. You can catch the new issue of Guys with Issues each week on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts.
Or check out our website at guyswithissues.com, where you can listen, find reading lists to follow along, and get to know us better.
You can also find us on Instagram at guys_with_issues and on Facebook at Guys with Issues.
Send us emails to longbox@guyswithissues.com and tell us your thoughts or send us suggestions on what we should read next. We would love to hear from our listeners. It was Michael Keaton pretending to be Tom Cruise impersonating Keanu Reeves.